a return for his 21st season? I thought the guy retired. And the Dallas Cowboys are laughing at a Dak for Russ trade. With that, we say good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wilds. Nick, did I miss the joke? Why are the boys laughing?
Well, I don't know. I find it laughable that they find it laughable. We're all going to be laughing this morning. That's an outrageous thing.
That's good. I like it. All right, we'll get to that in just a bit, but we got to start in Milwaukee. Little Bucks, little Clippers. This was a fun one. Back and forth all game long. All the stars played. Giannis played like the reigning MVP, 36 points. Bucks played like the reigning defensive team of the year. They held the Clippers scoreless for the final 4 minutes of the game. Somewhere out there, I heard Nick laughing all the way up there in Harlem. Big win for the Milwaukee Bucks. That is 5 in a row if you're into counting. Nick, what was your biggest takeaway from this one?
My biggest takeaway, Jenna, was I was told when the NBA released their second half of the season schedule that the playoffs were starting later than usual. But it turns out the playoffs for the Clippers started last night. Because yesterday afternoon, man, oh man, did that look like a Clippers playoff game. Oh, you got a lead in the fourth quarter, and then what happens? Kawhi and Paul George, clang, clang, clang. How many clangs were there? Oh, 9 in a row? 0 for 9 down the stretch for those two fellas in the final 4 minutes as the Clippers went scoreless. Brandon, your pick to come out of the West.
Yeah.
They have a PG named Paul George. They need an actual PG, meaning a point guard. And until they get that, they're going to have some problems at the end of games. As you saw a Bucks team that nobody believes in. Nah, they can't finish, they can't do anything. Just absolutely run roughshod over the Clippers at the end of that game last night, or yesterday afternoon, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Playoff P, it definitely started. I don't think it had anything to do with Kawhi, right? Like, look at Paul George, 2 for 10 from three-point line, 33% overall. That's a problem when you're going against a team that's hungry, a team that's on fire, a team that's been counted out because of what they did on that run in that stretch, on that losing streak. So, to me, it was more about the Clippers and Paul George than it was the Bucks, because the Bucks last night, that was their best shot, Nick. Like, to me, when you watch that game, they played phenomenal. Defense, their energy was there. The 1-2 was there. You had Giannis hitting from the perimeter, hitting from 3. Giannis getting into the paint anytime he wanted. That's the thing that the NBA figured out this year was, let's not let Giannis get in the paint. If we do that and we turn them to a three-point shooter, perimeter player, we have a chance. Middleton was okay, Kevin, but at the end of the day, that was the Milwaukee Bucks' best shot. The Clippers, that wasn't their best shot because you had playoff P rear his head, and that's a problem. If playoff P can come back to playing how he was this year, they'll be okay because he's having a phenomenal year. Just can't let this happen.
I still can't figure out if playoff P is a compliment or an insult. It seems to change depending on every year. All right, Nick, this did have some playoff feel to it. Giannis, in like rare form, there was a strategic intensity that I really liked out of Giannis. First of all, played 40 minutes. I know you're the minutes police. And look at this. You know things I hate, injustice and business decisions. Giannis is like, no way, dude, get out of here. This is a fourth quarter play. It proves costly. The game was close the whole time. If Giannis missed those free throws, he's like, don't worry, guys, I blocked this one. So congratulations. The next part of this sequence here later on is this strategic intensity on the second to last play of the game. We've talked a lot about, hey, who takes the last shot? Giannis doesn't have a real go-to move. What are we going to do? And it's like, hey, we'll just pass the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4. This ends up being 5 passes, and Giannis is dunking the ball from the three-point line. Unstoppable. Great job by Giannis. And no one wants to talk about it, but Nick, as our resident statistician, I'm gonna give you some stats here as we talk about the MVP conversation if you want to think about your vote. Giannis is averaging 29, 12, and 6 and getting no MVP talk. LeBron, 25, 8, and 8. Oh, it's got to be the MVP. Got to be the MVP. 25-8-8. Well, Giannis is 29-12-6. I know we got the narrative for LeBron, and I know one wants to give Giannis 3 MVPs, but he should be in the conversation.
No, he should
not. He's not in the conversation.
Nick, don't
he's not in the conversation. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead, and then I'll respond.
Nick, no. You can respond, but please don't entertain that. Please, no.
Why?
He's win 5 games in a row, and all of a sudden, Giannis should be back in the MVP.
Well, listen, the Bucks are a half game out of first or a game out of first in the East, and Giannis's numbers are spectacular, but he's not eligible for the MVP this year, and everybody knows it. You can't win back-to-back MVPs and not make an NBA Finals and be eligible for it. That's just the rules. Again, if I were an official voter, then maybe I could tweak the rules. Those are the rules, Wilds. Look them up. But if we can,
not the rules.
And by the way, I want to say something about Giannis. No, they literally are the rules, Wilds. You should look it up. He's ineligible. It's happened to Steve Nash. Steve Nash, look at the year Steve Nash after he won back-to-back MVPs. Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs, never made an NBA Finals. They're like, okay, you're ineligible from now on. Also, speaking of playoff P, if you look at the Giannis dunk, at the end of it, you have playoff P looking to the refs, saying, where's the travel call?
Yeah,
blaming the refs, a playoff P staple. But everyone's going to talk about, Brandon, about how Giannis ended the game. I want to go to a sequence in the second quarter for a moment that shows you what he could be. Because he's great. He's one of the 4 best players in the league. But because he doesn't have the shot, there's a ceiling to him. So this is in the second quarter. He brings the ball up the court. They build a wall. He's a willing passer. That's a layup. So that's the first play. You can watch it again. They're like, stop him, stop him, stop him. Now you get an open layup. The next time up the court, they're like, all right, we can't build that wall because then he's going to find somebody. Terrence Mann, see what you can do. And what Terrence Mann can do is get dunked on easily. So now they're like, all right, the hell are we going to do? So the next time up the court, they put Zubats on him, and they're like, we dare you to shoot. I'll give you 8 feet.
Bang.
Brandon, if he can, and I know we've been saying this for 4 years.
Yes.
If he can just become passable at this shot, he's unguardable.
Right.
Because that is the only way to guard him when he's bringing the ball up the court, is to step off him by 8 feet. But he's not a passable shooter most nights, so that is what has happened to him in the playoffs. Again, this is not a tough shot, the one there, but he's got to become passable at it.
Yes, but at the end of the day, now Middleton is your 2, and that's not enough. You do not have enough offense to beat the Nets. I'm sorry, but if Middleton's your 2, he's having a phenomenal year. He's playing lights out, and they have great chemistry, but it's not enough, Nick.
Well, the only caveat I would put to that, because I also don't think the Bucks are going to win the East. I think the Sixers are going to win the East, but that's a separate discussion, is they did get Drew Holiday back. Drew Holiday was the big offseason addition. He's been out with COVID protocols for weeks. And so now he didn't play big minutes last night. He wasn't the big reason they won. But I do wonder what Drew Holiday is going to be able to help them with come playoff time. And so I do think we need to see them at full strength a little bit longer. And by the way, the Nets, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the East, Brandon. The Nets might end up with a first-round matchup against the Miami Heat. They might. No, I'm just saying, like, the Nets got to worry about round 1 before we even talk about round 2 and round 3. The Nets got a lot of things on
However far you think the Bucks are going, they won last night. 5 in a row for Milwaukee. Chris Broussard will join us in a little bit to talk more about that. We got to talk some Dallas Cowboys now. Why are they laughing? They're laughing at the idea of trading Dak Prescott for Russell Wilson. Laughing. Why? It's next. First things first.